Hello, and welcome to the Tower Coffee Hour. I'm your host, Preston, or Tyree. Last week, Saturday afternoon, we had a chance to talk to the POA and find out what's happening. We talked about the strategic plan, the budget, the possible dog park, the possible swim team, the row home issues, and really got a good introduction to the people of Cohere, who are the management company that operates this for the POA. So let's go take a look and see what happens. It took a long time, but most of it's worth it. Look out, here we go.
Which is so important. So, as we're having a seat, I will go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Yasmin Turk, and a lot of you know me because somebody this morning said, "Oh, you're going to be doing this again." I'm here. I can't help but audience, right? So, anyways, I am a neighbor that has been here for about 11 years, and so grateful for the opportunity to come and help moderate this morning because we have a wonderful program for you today. And first, before we start, I want you to look around and see if there's a neighbor that you don't know. If there is at least one neighbor that you have never met before. Does everybody see at least one person they haven't met before? Okay, so before you leave today, make sure you talk to at least one person that you haven't met before. Fine. I know, I love it. I can't be mad at that though. That is exactly what I love. So I can't be mad at that at all. So not right now, but before you leave at the end of the day, I want to make sure that you talk to another person that hasn't met. So at first we're going to be going over the agenda. So going over the agenda for today, we have a really thoughtful program that they have come up with for you. And it's listed up here on the screen. We're going to really go over the objectives because it was really crafted with wanting to make sure you understand what today is about, what the opportunities are, and what will happen in the follow-up afterwards. Also, really get information that's helpful about the transition and the strategic plan.
We will have breakout sessions. There are 4 different breakout sessions that we will go over where you can get more in-depth information on 4 specific topics. We'll also have the chance for question and answer and comment. And then at the end, we'll let you know kind of the next steps where we go from here, what to look forward to and what to look out for going forward. All right, so we're going to start with those objectives. We want to be able to share out information so that you know what's going on, what you can look forward to, how you can be engaged, and also answer the questions that you have. Some of them might be answered in the presentation, but if not, we want to make sure that you have a chance to ask your questions and get those answers that you're looking for. And also, here, the POA wants to hear from the community on what's important to you. What are topics that, there are several of them that are going to be brought up today with the breakout sessions, but if there are more important topics, this is a great chance to be able to share those interests and concerns with the rest of the community. And for your participation, because that is what makes today, is we want to make sure that you know if you have questions that you walked in with, that you'll have those answers before you leave. So Bill is here. Does everybody know Bill? Bill is here. All right, yes, some claps, I appreciate that, a little participation. Bill will take those questions. If you have, did you guys get note cards when you walked in? Does everybody have note cards when you came in? If you didn't, you can get some from the back table, or Bill has some. And throughout the early part of this morning in the presentation, make sure you get those cards to Bill, or even during the breakout sessions, and we'll be able to address those at the end. So if you walked in with a question, we want to make sure you walk out with an answer. If questions come up along the way, we also want to make sure that we have a chance to address those as well. There are QR codes that are on the table that I hope that you will scan. Those QR codes are set up so that you can have quick access to the information you'll need about the strategic plan, the swim team proposal, the Mueller dog off-leash area pilot, all of those things in one place. So you can scan those when you go for your breakout sessions if you have not already. And make sure you stay till the end. We'll have question and answers in a comment period that will get to those written questions as well as other things that might come up throughout the morning. And then afterwards, there will be a post-quorum summary. And as always, we just want to make sure we put it in right and keep it neighborly, right? So throughout the morning, hopefully you'll have a chance to engage with your neighbors. We just want to make sure we do it in a way that really builds our community. Sound good? Yes. All right, thank you. Appreciate that. So without further ado, we are going to get started talking about the transition process with Karen Sharp.
Let's give her a round of applause. Let's get some energy.
Thank you, Yasmin. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Karen Sharp, and I have the honor to be the current board president of the Master Association. And the new boards have been meeting for about 9 months now, so it's been a full year. I think you'd agree. And okay, it was already on transition process. So when we talk about transition, I think originally when we were preparing for it, which seemed like it went on for years, preparing for transition, we were talking about the board transition from developer to property owner majority. But then it seemed like we needed to upgrade our management infrastructure. So we also decided at the same time to change management companies, which has made it, much more energetic this year with lots and lots of changes, right? And the transition is really not flipping a switch, though. It's really more of a process. And so this is the first year of the actual transition. I expect that next year will also be a year of transition, but it won't be as chaotic as this year. So as the months go along, it's going to get better and better. Believe me, it will. It will. Do you believe me? Yes, it will. And in that vein, one of the things that we've worked on this year to make sure that we keep getting better and better, in addition to getting a new management company, we've also developed a draft strategic plan. And that plan is intended to help us move forward to ensure that we have the POA that we need for the future of Mueller, which is very much like a city in its own right. So it's a major undertaking to really provide the stewardship needed for this community. And so that's really what all of the transition is about. So to remind you that we have 3 boards, I think by this time people have seen a lot of information about that. 2 of the boards have transitioned to property owner control. That's the Master Board that has both residential and commercial owners. And then the Mixed Use Board, which is primarily the residential owners. The ECTC, the mysterious board because of its initials, is actually the commercial board, and it's the Employment Center Town Center Sub-Association, and they're still primarily developer controlled, and I would expect perhaps in the next year to, oh, I didn't do it. Huh, it didn't go forward.
Oh, it's the clicker. This is just my unconnected.
Oh, okay. All right, thanks. I was using the wrong thing. Okay. All right, so I would expect in the next year, it went too far?
I'll click for you.
Will you click for me? I've never asked anyone that before. Thank you, Yasmin. So I would like to acknowledge, we have, by the way, a quorum of board members here today, but we're not conducting any business. So I want to state that. And so would all the board members who are volunteering their time go ahead and raise your hands so you can be acknowledged. Yay! And while we're at it, how about all those committee members who volunteer their time? Would you raise your hands? So that's really a fantastic part of our community, is that people step up and volunteer to make sure that the neighborhood is vibrant and meeting the needs of all. We're having trouble with our clickers today. All right. So, we have transitioned management companies, and that has had a lot of chapters. We've had the chapter of having a new system for assessments, the Vantica chapter. It may be still ongoing. We've had the new website chapter. We've had also, though, behind the scenes, Cohere has been working to make sure that we would have the right staffing. So you may recall in March that our previous community manager left, and Cohere hired an interim director for us, John Cisneros, and he served ably in that role for 5 months and really provided stability and leadership to the on-site team. Thank you, John. But while John was serving as interim director, Cohere was doing a national recruitment for the new executive director, and they provided the master board with 4 resumes, and we interviewed 4 people, and they were highly qualified. All 4 of them had strengths, and we felt very good about the quality of the candidates they brought us. But we also came quickly through a multiple interview process. We came to consensus around Tricia McKinnon. Sorry about that, Tricia. And Tricia she has a wonderful background, a lot of experience in executive leadership positions. She's worked for municipal government, she's worked for state, she's been over community development, she's been over code enforcement, she's a Navy veteran, she has a fantastic, diverse background. And in the short time she's been here, she's really been contributing. She's been here 10 days. And she's been contributing in meetings and having ideas and asking good questions. And would you help me give her a warm welcome? Tricia McKinnon.
Thank you for that introduction. It is truly a privilege for me to be here standing amongst such a diverse and vibrant and purposeful community. This community for me, when I first came here a couple of months ago and walked around, I saw that it had a lot of possibility, it had a lot of purpose. I felt the energy, and from the moment that I got here and then every day since. So that is encouraging for me to see. Because of the innovative model of Catellis, connecting people and places, this isn't just a collection of homes and parks. It's a living example of what happens when people come together to create something extraordinary. I want to begin by recognizing the incredible partnership and vision that got us here, the Banbury team, and Brian Dozel, who's back there, whose leadership has shaped this community through years of development and growth. Their work didn't just build structures, it built a place where people thrive. It laid a foundation of purpose, design, and belonging. And now we're entering into a new chapter where we're shifting from a builder or a developer-led community to a resident-led one. This isn't just a transition, it's a transformation. I want to take a moment to celebrate those of you who have stepped into some of those leadership roles, who are serving on boards, who are serving on committees, and who have showed up throughout the time here in Mueller and to events like this, so your voices can be heard. You are the heartbeat of what comes next. Your energy, your curiosity, your care, that's what will guide Mueller's evolution. Now, let me pause there for a second because I hear this is a big debate, whether it's Mueller or Miller, so I don't know. Sometimes I might say it both just to keep the balance, but as I step into my role as executive director, I'm beginning what I like to call a listening tour. That means spending time with you, with residents, committees, partners, to listen, to learn what you're proud of, what opportunities you see, and what you see for the future here. This will also be my learning journey, one shaped by your stories, your ideas, and your aspirations. Because understanding what matters to you most, that will help us shape what matters most to Mueller. My goal is simple. It's to honor the tremendous work that's brought us here, build on the foundation that was laid before me, and to keep that momentum alive. At Cohere, our mission is about more than just community management. It's ensuring relationships flourish and about creating spaces where people feel supported and connecting and genuinely feel at home. As we move forward together, my promise is to lead with intention, transparency, collaboration, and clarity so that Mueller continues to thrive as a model community for years to come. I am excited about what lies ahead and even more excited about being on this journey with you all. Again, thank you for welcoming so warmly. Before I close, if you could advance the slide, thank you. I did want to recognize the Cohere staff. These are the people that quietly keep things running behind the scenes every day. They build relationships, they solve problems, they hold the pulse of this community. If you don't mind, a few of them are here today, and I would love for them to introduce themselves to you all. This way you can put a face to the names that you might be familiar with.
Hello, John Cisneros. I'm the new Community Assets Director.
Hi everyone, I'm Angela DeMora, Director of Operations. Hey everyone, I'm Lindsay Villanueva and I'm the Communications and Engagement Coordinator.
Hi there, my name is Myrna and I'm the Venue and Engagement Manager.
Hello everybody, I'm Giovanna, your Row Homes Manager.
That's great. This is a hardworking team. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about our strategic plan. It's 21 pages long, so we're going to be here until about 5 o'clock while I go over every detail of the plan. Just kidding. But I do want to say that I've lost my screen here. Oh, there you go. And then test.
This is where you're at, and just tell me when you want to change slides.
Okay, got it. So the name of the plan is Brilliant on the Basics, which is our first strategic plan, but yet we're calling it basic. Why is that? It's because a lot of the foundation that we need to be the POA that's needed needs to be put in place. So there's a lot of foundational work to do to become brilliant on the basics. So far, the boards, management, and committees and community have had the opportunity to have input. If you have not looked at the strategic plan, which has been posted online, it's on the website now. It's on the QR code that you can scan today. Please do read that 21-page or however many pages you want to read document. The process we used to create the plan included looking at change dynamics that face the POA and doing strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats analysis, and then coming up with goals, objectives, and metrics. I am not going to go through all of those with you today, but I'm going to hit a few highlights that I want to emphasize. Next slide. So just some of the change dynamics. I think we can all appreciate the violent weather events and much higher insurance premiums and deductibles. That's got to be number one, especially for our row homeowners, but all of our owners are feeling the heat somewhat, but the row homeowners in particular. We also have reached the point of evolution in the community where we actually, even though we're just now transitioning or transforming to a majority property owner boards, we have aging infrastructure that not only needs maintenance, but needs true restoration, which is a higher level of maintenance. We have our largest volume of requests because we're the biggest we've ever been. We have more people living here and working here, and we have older properties that need more attention, and we have storms, and people are more aware of the POA's responsibilities now. That's in addition to the change dynamics of new boards, new management companies, and more requests. So we have more community engagement now, and now community members are coming forward with ideas about how to change amenities or create new amenities. And we're going to be talking about a couple of those today, the swim team and the dog park initiatives. And then on the horizon, the not too far horizon, the Pavilion Event Center is going to be transferred from the project to the POA to own. That's a big change. And so that's an opportunity for additional revenue, and it's also an opportunity to provide more services, more maintenance, more management. Strengths and weaknesses, the development is still incredibly popular. Our retail and housing property values are holding stronger than comparables in Austin, which is great. Our master reserves are well funded, which is fantastic. And of course, the new management and new boards. But there's a legacy of insufficient staff, which was supplemented by the developer who did a lot of the management. Didn't they, Brian? And we're kind of flying the plane while building it, so to speak. We're doing a lot of things, but we're still putting things in place in order to be more effective. There is a legacy of slow response to members, which there's dissatisfaction with. And so that's a priority for the new management team. But things keep happening, like big storms that kind of create a lot more requests. We've had a loss of knowledge with staff turnover and decreasing involvement by the developer. And now opportunities and threats. We want to use technology wisely to create more effective processes. And we want to define policies to make the POA more consistent and easier to understand, and we've been putting some of that into place. We have potential savings from a tax-exempt status that we've applied for now, but guess where it is? It's at the IRS. So there's a little bit of a hiccup with the government shutdown on that, but that could really save us some money. And then the future revenue from Events Pavilion. But we've got the increasing costs for goods and services, as everyone knows, increase for new amenities. Communication challenges, it's very hard to saturate this neighborhood with good communication. It's quite a challenge. And I think Cohere is the company who can get us across to a better communication. And then probably our biggest threat is maintaining affordability while improving quality. So we've created some key goals and objectives and measures. There are many more than we're about to talk about in 5 different areas. The first is governance and planning. I'm not going to read these slides, it'd be too much, but we want to ensure our governing documents meet our needs before the developer leaves. So this is something that we have to get on right away. We've done some work on that and made some changes in the last couple of years. But one of the things we need to do is have a governance subcommittee of the board to really work on this, to engage with experts and, of course, the community on making sure that we're comfortable with our governing documents. The other thing that is a high priority is evaluating and make recommendations to improve the governance, especially the insurance structure of the row home service area. High priority. Organization and talent, building and maintaining a skilled, motivated management team. 2 key measures there is tracking the resident response rate and continuing to improve that response rate, and employee satisfaction, which is something that Cohere measures. So happy employees or motivated employees, those 2 things go hand in hand. So, community assets. Here's John Cisneros' favorite tagline: complete control over the span of operations. That's a wonderful, wonderful objective. And some of the key measures there is member satisfaction with the common area upkeep, and implementing a comprehensive database and digital repository for all the documentation of our facilities, grounds, and amenities, and making it GIS enabled so that we can have location associated with that, which will be a tremendous asset for the community. Financial responsibility, balancing affordability with the need for quality, having transparency, accurate financials. And so we're going to be looking at actual versus budgeted expenses to see how good of a job we do to plan, and establishing a process for planning and reporting on multi-year projects, because we have those, like they're like capital projects. And we also have landscape projects like that, but we don't have an actual process exactly how we do that across years. Community engagement, an informed and engaged community, effective communication. And so one of the key measures there is having at least an annual community engagement prior to the budget being adopted, which this year there was so much to talk about that we're having this forum. Other years it might look differently, but we would always have a community engagement. And so if this has intrigued you and made you want to read the 21-page document, please do so and give us feedback on it. Email your thoughts. We will actually formally adopt the strategic plan in the October 23rd Master Board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
I feel so very lucky to be in a community with Karen as our board president and just all of the wonderful volunteers. I mean, we're definitely fortunate for her organization, her dedication, and her follow through. It's incredible. And so now we're going to move to our breakout sessions. We have 4 for you, and I'll go over them briefly. We'll do this in 15-minute sessions, so hopefully you'll each have a chance to go to 3 sessions. And so for the 4th one, you're just going to have to listen. If you're like dying to hear, I bet you can have that conversation with them as it ends. But we thought at least getting to 3 of them would be very helpful. So the first one that is available, can you raise your hand? Master Budget. All right, Master Budget volunteers. Okay, so at their table, you're going to get the information on drivers of projected assessment increases, ask questions, provide input on budget priorities. And then the next one is for row home updates. Where are the row homeowners at? Row homers, there you go. Over there, they will be able to help you with getting information on the evaluation of interior coverage by the POA and provide your input, get info on drivers for proposed regular assessment increases, and provide input on budget priorities. Next, anybody have any opinions on the swim team? If so, where should they go? Right here, over in the corner. Wonderful. You can get info on the latest proposal, ask questions, and provide input on evaluation criteria for a pilot if approved. And definitely not least, the dog park pilot working group recommendation. Where will they go? Right here in the back corner. Get information on the survey results and recommendations, ask questions, and sign up to be a part of the pilot evaluation team if a pilot is approved. So if you know me, then you know that I keep time very well. If you don't know me, then today is a chance to get to know that I keep time very well. So I will make sure to gently bring you back bring you to the next session. And I will make sure that we do so in a timely way so we have time to get to larger questions as well. So choose your first station and go ahead and get started. Table leaders, I'll let you know when the time officially begins and ends. go back to their seats. All right, well, thank you everyone for participating, and for those of you who are staying for the rest of the question and answers. We want to get to those questions that were written down. And first of all, can you guys look around for a second and see how many people are here? Do you guys know how many people live in Mueller? I learned this week, and if you watched the candidate forum, you know too, Mueller has more people than the city of Fredericksburg and more than 1,000 cities in Texas. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, look around this room. Next time when you come, I mean, you guys are obviously the best of the best because you made it. Next time when you come, also maybe bring a neighbor, because it would be great if we could double this room. Yeah, that would be amazing. All right, so we're going to get to the written questions that many of you submitted, and if you still have any, feel free to give them to Bill. We are going to start with the first question, which is, can we get an update on the next capital reserve strategy? Who will do the study and how much will it cost? Is it on? Should be. Give it a try.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay. The next reserve study is going to be, and I'm looking at John Cisneros, is going to be early next year, right?
Yes.
In the first quarter?
Yes.
In the first quarter, the reserve study costs about $46,000, is that right? Okay.
Do we spend all the reserves on the reserve study? No. Okay. Mueller is all about community. What is it going to take to get a multi-purpose community center?
So what is it going to take to get a multi-purpose community center? So money and more money. And but really right now there is no current project for that, but there's a lot of people interested in that. And so perhaps a proposal will come forward that fully addresses how to fund it and that kind of thing, and the board can consider it.
Great, thank you. And the next is for HOA staff. Intentional follow-up. Please acknowledge people's feedback, questions, and concerns submitted by the website or phone.
I'll get to it.
Okay.
That is one thing that I have heard often since I've been here in my very short few days. So that is something that is on the forefront of my mind and trying to understand that better. What I do know is there have been some transitions from how people communicate with us, again, the staffing and what the priorities are. So my philosophy is customer excellence, and that is what I really strive for. So when I hear people complaining about just the basic thing of getting communicated with or having a response go back to them, I take that very seriously. So hopefully you will see that improve over the next few weeks, months to follow.
Thank you, Tricia. And also, it'd be helpful if we stopped having extreme weather events. That would probably help with wait times. The next question says stop signs, Maddie, speed bumps. Which my understanding is that stop signs, speed bumps, those are all things handled by City of Austin. So in order to make that request, that's something that has to go through 311. Is that, Brian, here you go.
Hi everyone, just wanted to let you, yes, Yasmin is correct, you can call 311 for anything related to stop signs or anything in roadways. Even though the development built the roads, they're now owned by the City of Austin. Same is true with the sidewalks. But I would encourage you that you don't just make one request to 311. You have to make probably multiple requests, and as the city understands that there is interest in this from you multiple times, from your neighbors multiple times, that's usually when the City of Austin staff start paying more attention to that. So keep those requests going to 311 for that.
And we've seen a lot of new stop signs come in, so I'm sure that's probably in response to that as well. Yes. And the next one probably also is similar, is a request for painting the crosswalks. Is that also a City of Austin request, or is that POA?
Yeah, crosswalks would also be a City of Austin request.
Okay. And the next says cars parking behind garages and alleyways. My understanding is that apron parking, you are permitted to park on your garage apron, just not blocking the alleyway. Is that correct? Or?
That's my understanding as well. But you cannot if you have an enormous truck and people can't back out of their driveways, that's a problem. So, any other comments on that?
Okay.
Betsy?
I thought it was not allowed.
Not allowed.
I don't think it's allowed. In fact, I think there was that's right, it was in the messenger maybe a month ago, like, don't park on your apron because the person behind you might not be able to back out of it. They would even force the garage.
Okay, so we have the power of community telling us, the people in the know, that the parking on the apron is not allowed, and no matter how small your vehicle is. What's leaking? We will look it up and let you know for sure
Okay, so
about
that's
that, but there seems to be a strong consensus that that is true. Brian, I thought you knew everything.
right. Uh-oh, shaking our sense of the world right now.
Okay, we're going to send out a summary. We'll verify the answers that came up today so that everybody's clear.
Okay, great. The next one says board members' contacts should be easy to find in portal, committee leaders as well. That's the first one. Any comment on that? Is that something that we publish?
We have a board address for the master board, which is used by several members of the community to contact the master board. And there's a mixed use board address as well. But I think they could be, I'm not sure how easy they are to find on the website. So I'll just ask Cohere to kind of take that as a note on further enhancing our website.
Great, thank you. The next one, and there are a couple of actually that are asking for enforcement of the covenants, trees, fences, etc. Yeah, so can we talk about enforcement of the covenants?
That is part of our growth, our staffing growth that will happen in 2026 is we will have a person that is dedicated to community appearance. So that will be part of that person's role. So it is happening.
And we have a couple of comments that are about row home maintenance. I hope those people did go to the row home table and get those questions answered and addressed. But is there anything else that anyone would like to say about row home maintenance?
I want to find out more about the assessment.
The row home assessment and insurance?
The insurance, the assessment, the deductibles, who's making the policies for the row homes? Because it seems like no one's representing the row homes.
Did you go to the row home table?
Yeah, I went over there.
And you didn't get your questions answered?
No.
Okay, did you have something else you wanted to add, Kathy, or?
Yeah, we talked about everything. I'm happy to talk more. But if you had a question that we didn't get to.
It says $20,000 assessment on the board.
I really think though, because it's not. I really think John needs to address that because it's going to come down to what we get from the insurance. And we're just trying to do our best to get our homes repaired as row home committee members. And we don't have control over what things cost and what our insurance is. Let me see. Are y'all okay addressing this at this time?
I'm sorry, Kathy.
Are you okay addressing this at this time?
I had a brief moment to try to discuss this or to talk about it, and so the 20,000 amount that we see is really only a placeholder, and that's based on what we already know about our deductible limit and so on. I know we're in the very final stages of working that out with our insurance company, and so we're looking forward to having an updated number. At the moment, I can tell you that I foresee that it'll likely be a little bit less than the 20 million. It won't be the 20,000. The 20 million is what we're using as our baseline for the deductible, and so we're working on that. We should have an answer to address that very shortly. Like,
why is the insurance not covering the whole amount? Why are you making each home paying an assessment? Aren't we paying the HOA insurance for that? Are you not picking the right policies? Like, where's the gap? Where's the difference? Where's the gap?
Welcome to America and our insurance company coverage.
We don't have a reserve to pay it.
So I would just say that the insurance industry has gone through a tremendous transformation where they're not, all the premiums have gone up, the deductibles have gone up, the percentages have gone up. And we had one company that dropped us as a client a few years ago because they're just not wanting to cover the large service area as they have been doing. And that's why it is a priority for the board to restructure the insurance for the row homes. It's something that we started talking to attorneys about, getting some expert legal advice about, and we're not ignoring it. We know it's not a sustainable model. And so we're looking at options. And that's the best I can tell you, that it's actively being looked at so that we can get to a better place.
So what happens if there's another hailstorm next week? Is there another assessment on top of that? What's that assessment gonna be? The first one was 5,000 last year, and now we've got a $20,000 one. What will another one be? Will that be like 40,000 or 50,000? Is this just, is this a game that y'all?
Welcome to climate change.
Single-family homeowners are also dealing with this too. Their insurance premiums are going up. It's not unique to homeowners.
Okay, I'm gonna invite everybody, because remember our first slide, be neighborly. So let's go ahead and not shout out. Let's raise our hand and let's do it in an orderly way. Did you have something you wanted to say first, Karen? Before it looked like you were
I was
speaking.
just gonna say, I know it's a big concern, and it's a concern for everyone, and we are actively working on a better way forward, and we can't predict anything about the weather right now, but we can work on getting a better insurance structure in place.
Okay, Belinda, you had your hand up.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I'm not
get
in
you
a
a
row
mic.
home, I'm in a standalone home, and I've had to have my roof replaced twice, and there's a portion of that cost that I end up having to pay that my insurance doesn't cover. And I don't know. Anyway, so there is a portion of that even though standalone homeowners have to cover, it's just not called an assessment, it's called a deductible. Yeah. And it was 1 year it was ready.
We're not yelling out, right? We're raising our hands. Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
I have a single family home on McBee Street that was affected by the yard home, like the hailstorm in 2023, September 2023. It's my first time ever paying for the roof replacement. And then this year in May of 2025, it got hit again. And my insurance company has told me that they do not want to cover me anymore. I went to multiple, I guess, normal standard insurance, right? They say my credit in terms of insurance is very faulty, right? I have to get insurance from the secondary market. So it's not just row home owners, everybody, nobody, insurance companies are for profit, so think about that. We can't do anything about the hail, but it really affects. I have a loan on my house. I have to have insurance.
Thank you. Does anybody else have a comment on this topic? Yes, ma'am.
So,
Wait, can you get a microphone?
I know our deductible is a percentage of the value of the property. My current row home is worth less than the land it sits on. So will the insurance company take that whole value, including the land, because it's a significant difference, 5% of the building versus 5% of what the tax assessment is. Are we using the right number? The insurance usually uses just the.
Karen, do you want to respond?
My understanding is, Joe, what is it? Joe, I'm asking you. You can answer this better than me.
So the policy is based on a statement of values that was presented to the insurance company, and so we didn't have to do anything control over that. One of the items we're gonna do next year is go back and sort of go through that statement of value and get those to more rational reconstruction costs.
Does it make sense?
It does. I went and looked and compared statement of value, the values that were in the SOV to appraised value of properties. And they were actually higher, right? The entire appraised value was less than what was in that statement of value. So it's an issue that we need to fix.
Yes, ma'am.
So first of all, my heart breaks for you on the insurance, and I know, and that's kind of bringing this up is, so a conversation we're having over at row homes is for, instead of replacing with shingles again, even if we go to class 4, can we look at metal? But now I'm starting to think, can we look at everything, all the repairs that we do? Let's build it for knowing there's probably gonna be another hailstorm. What can we do in the repair, even if it costs us some money up front? Instead of putting wood, can we put hardy board? Instead of doing regular shingles, can we do metal? Can we look at, as we make repairs, how can we prepare in future storm repair, our row homes? So we're not hit with this 5,000, 20,000, not getting insurance story, but let's be proactive as we make these next repairs.
We've received many comments to that effect, to look at hardier materials, and I think John's very aware of that interest in doing that. So thank you for bringing your ideas forward. Yes, Diane?
Can you make it clear?
Can you say it on
the home committee and the election will be coming up in November if people would like to?
Diane is smartly reminding me to,
Department committee here.
who's chair of the recruitment committee, that the row home committee elections are coming up later this year, and to please apply so you can be on that advisory committee about row home issues. And we will have a lot to talk about with the row home committee.
Thank you. There's a lot to talk about on that. That's why I love that there is that chance to be involved on that deeper level, being involved in the committee, so you get to know the numbers behind it, the nuance behind it. You know, a lot of times when we see decisions, we disagree with them, but then if we go back and understand the nuance behind them, it helps us to better get context of what led to that and what changes are available, what other opportunities are available. Thank you. So now we have 2 stacks of questions. Can anyone guess what all of these questions are about? Dog park and swim team. There we go. So buckle up. Here we go. I don't know that I'm gonna read. Well, I'll go ahead and just read them. There's not too many, I guess. So the first one is dog park, page 1. Do not want pilot to include Southeast Greenway. Many objections have been raised as to why this area is not good. These objections include increase in traffic causing in danger for children crossing the street, no parking for all the new traffic, increased expenses to maintain the pilot dog park, and increased assessments, urine, feces, smell to nearby homeowners, aerosolization of urine, feces that could spread pathogens such as E. coli that could infect people, especially those near the area of the dog park, homeowners directly across the proposed Southeast Greenway Park. Increased noise from barking dogs. The current mixed use and beauty in Southeast Greenway would be ruined. As an elderly person across the park, I have strong objections to have a pilot and or dog park at Southeast Greenway. Page 2. When we purchased our home across the Southeast Greenway, we were told the Greenway as a point of beauty and use for children and not a dog park. Okay, this is the next one. Keep the park multi-used for sports, e.g. soccer, hacky sack. Haven't heard hacky sack in a while. That's a good one. I need to head over there. Community gatherings, birthday parties, block parties, etc. Too close to the watershed affects wildlife. Studies across the country and with environmental specialists here in Austin that says urine, feces, runoff will pollute the water. Potential increase to our HOA fee because of increased cost for maintenance and insurance. How do we keep Austin more affordable I can't read that last word. Let's not contribute to the crisis. Traffic increase, the area by the Southeast Greenway already has a skate park. There is no parking. Thank you. Homeowner with a 9-year-old kid and a dog owner. Thank you. Comment about dog park. I am a dog owner and regularly walk around the Southeast Greenway. Dog owners, as well as others, regularly play in the open space. My concern is if the space is converted to a dedicated dog park. Other dog parks, including the one near Branch Park, have had issues with abandoned pets and people using it as a doggy daycare. In addition, I share concerns about the environmental impact, the loss of community space, and the ongoing cost of maintenance and insurance. As a neighborhood, we should have other priorities for our HOA funds. This is not a good proposal at this time. Ryan King Mueller, homeowner. If survey revealed 80% of residents surveyed will not pay for dog park maintenance, we should not proceed. Dog park. Why was northwest off-leash area selected when southeast area received 20% votes, 45.8% versus 37.8%? And then they did a little calculation for me. Brian, would you like to be the spokesperson for all things dog park today?
Sure, I'd love to.
Actually, we say it with a little bit of shake of head, but I really love the dog park process. So I facilitated the working group for the dog park process. And so shout out to these guys because they really had a great structure in place to allow for 5 months of really learning about what the issues are, what the nuance is, and really gave us the space to get all of the information to the working group so that they can make really an informed decision. So hats off to you guys for that. And I don't know if everybody knows that long process took place, so I think that's important to share out.
Did you want me to respond to a specific question or just kind of generally talk about?
I think responding to those questions would be great. I think responding the specific questions about the location selection related to the survey, that the survey was not a voting tool, and then the cost that would be involved, and just the concerns from the neighbors about the Southeast Greenway location.
Okay, so at our table, we had a very spirited conversation. There are clearly very passionate people for a dog park. I think a lot of people are supportive of dog park in general. Passionate about whether it's in the Southeast Greenway or the Northwest Greenway. Very, very spirited discussion. And I think from the cards, you heard from people who are really in supportive of it not being in the Southeast Greenway, probably because they are neighbors of the area. But at our table, there were probably equal conversation of people who are very supportive of it being in the Southeast Greenway because it's frankly more convenient for a lot of the residents who live in that area. And it's already being used in many cases as such. There's the parking that's perhaps adjacent to the skate park, although there were debates about that, whether or not, and some people were saying that the skate park facility, the parking lot there is full on a pretty regular basis. So the working group was assembled several months ago. That includes Mueller residents. That was people who could volunteer to participate in that, as well as representatives of the surrounding neighborhood of Mueller and the surrounding neighborhoods, because this dog park would not just serve Mueller residents, it would serve a greater part of the community. One of the things that I learned, because I was at the last working group meeting, and Merrill was and shared this with me, is that from a funding standpoint, it's still a little unclear as to what's going to happen there. What originally the city of Austin had said is that they would fund the installation, essentially a chain link fence or maybe a few other amenities for the pilot program. The POA would be responsible for the cost of maintaining that pilot program. And then if down the road everyone loves the pilot program is successful and we decide to move forward with a permanent location, that it would be the city would not pay for it. What we've learned since then is the POA, just like any other organization and citizens, can apply through the City of Austin budgetary process and see if we can find funding from the city and through the Parks and Recreation Department to be able to fund a permanent location. But the property owner association would still be responsible for some kind of maintenance. We don't know what the true cost of the maintenance is going to be. It could be significant. It could, and not only the maintenance, but also the installation. We just don't know what the costs are gonna be for that. Some numbers have been thrown around, and you saw in the survey that there were questions about really kind of what is the amount that people would be willing to spend, but it may not be nearly that much. We just don't know that information yet. So on Monday, the mixed use board, and a reminder, there's the mixed use board and there's the master board. The mixed use board will take up this topic and may have more discussion or a presentation of the working group recommendation, and may vote to move that recommendation forward or not to the master board. I don't believe we have an agenda item set yet as to when the master board will take up this topic itself. It could be this year, it could be next. There may be more discussion that needs to be had. Again, the working group did recommend the Northwest Greenway by a slim majority. And as I understand it, there's also citizens who are residents of Mueller, who are proposing that perhaps a second pilot program be considered as part of the first, in addition to the first one. I think that's just come across our desk in the past few days. I haven't had a chance to read it myself, so there's probably more discussion that needs to be had on that. And that's, I'll stop there and just see if I answered everything that.
I think you answered, and just to make sure that you understand the concerns that the people who left the card, that you understand that those are some of their concerns.
Yeah, and just to give you a little bit of context, when this original idea was first brought forward, it went to the Parks and Recreation Department. They said they would be open to the idea. They love the idea of it being in Mueller to serve the community. And after a couple locations were identified, the very first thing that the POA did was contact the residents who live immediately adjacent to the Southeast Greenway, which was the original location that the park was interested in, because we know that as there's a lot of different stakeholders, a lot of different people interested in this topic, but the people who live adjacent to this proposed location do have a lot of, should have a lot of input into this process. And obviously they have some concerns that were addressed, I think, very articulately by that one card. There's traffic concerns, there's noise concerns, there's abandonment concerns, there's pollution concerns, and all that needs to be considered as part of this process. It can't just be from a convenience standpoint.
Thank you. And then just the one other thing I would add to that, if it's okay, is that the process is that the working group made a recommendation, but it's up to, it would require approval from the City of Austin and the POA board before anything would be agreed upon.
Yes, that's correct, Jasmine. There is an agreement, an official agreement between the City of Austin and the Property Owners Association. And this actually, is identified in the Master Development Agreement back in 2004. That the project would pay for the construction of these greenways and would maintain them for a period of time, at which time they would be turned back over. And so the City of Austin actually owns only the perimeter parks. They do not own Lake Park, they do not own Taniguchi, John Gaines, etc., but they do own the Northwest, Southwest, and Southeast greenways, with an agreement that the Property Owner Association would help maintain that. The City of Austin does put money in to do basic maintenance, to do regular mowings and some edgings, etc. But in a community like ours, where we have kind of some higher standards and have the ability to actually cover some of the additional costs to maintain the trails, to actually do irrigation that most parks in Austin don't get because there isn't the funding for that, to maintain the trees and trim them back, etc., etc. There's obviously additional costs that the POA incurs for additional maintenance that the city can't do.
Great, thank you so much. And on your way back, could I bother you to hand the microphone off to our friends at the swim team table?
I would be happy to pass the microphone on to someone else.
Great. Okay, so I'm gonna read out all of these just like I did with the last one, and then do you want to do it that way? That's fine, let's do it.
Okay, great.
Swim team, how and who determines first year trial? What do we base a possible review on objectively? So like metrics if there's a pilot.
Great. How and who? So the master board will be reviewing the proposal, and it is their responsibility to vote to direct Cohere to execute a usage agreement on the pilot or not. And in terms of success for the pilot, I believe that responsibility for that would also lie with the master board, advised also, of course, by the swim team, given that one of the components of the swim team continuing would be whether the swim team wanted to continue and asked to do so.
And we'll also get input from the pool committee.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, next one. What background checks would potential coaches, assistant coaches have in order to keep children safe? Who has access to those results? A DFPS criminal background check is not adequate.
Okay, I would love to speak with anyone who has experience in this area. All coaches will be background checked. I honestly don't know the name of the background check, but we will participate with the other swim teams in their standard process for checking the backgrounds of the coaches.
Okay. Swim team sounds more like exclusive swim club. Mueller children have pools, swim teams nearby. Swim team proposal does not fill unmet need. I think allowing children to dive sometimes, but not others, sets a dangerous precedent. Use the opportunity to simply provide stroke proficiency classes to Mueller children.
Okay.
It's more of a statement than a question.
It's a statement.
But feel free to respond if you'd like.
Okay. The swim team is open to all children aged 5 to 18 who can swim within the community. While we would love to serve even more children than that, we also have the reality of the capacity of our pools and the cost of coaches. And so the proposal that has been put forth is to, at least for the pilot season, to have it be all children within the community who can participate. In terms of diving, because the practices would happen only at times when the pool is closed to residents, so it would be swim team usage only. That diving would only happen among the swim team group. And children will be instructed many times and very sternly that diving is only appropriate in the pools under the supervision of coaches when they have said it is okay during swim practice only. It is not okay during open swim.
Okay. Swim team insurance must be adequate. Include family members in pool area during practice. Families must commit written that their kids can't dive outside practice. Finally, noise. I can't read the first word. Meets at bullhorns ever. So I guess they don't want bullhorns. Yes.
Great. There won't be any bullhorns. We've in working with other swim teams, we've discovered like noise projectors are only necessary at pools where you have something like a slide with rushing water, and because we don't have that, speaking is completely sufficient for children to be able to hear you. All participants, all families will sign a liability waiver before they are able to participate in the swim team, and then our coverage, we'll have 2 layers of coverage between the league coverage and our individual coverage, and the individual coverage will be working with John Cisneros and Cohere to make sure that it aligns to everything that the POA requires for use of the facility.
Okay, and there are 3 on this one. First, if you can talk about the survey results. It says a disregard shown for the 75% majority against it in the survey, even though surveys are not necessarily a voting tool. If you have a comment on that. The next one is the precedent it sets for other groups to exclusively use the pool, such as senior exercise group. And 3, I feel this pilot is a foot in the door for more hours in later years, and the pool will end up being closed to residents at certain times.
Okay.
The first part was the survey.
Okay. Yes, the survey surveyed a scenario in which Ella Wooten Pool would be closed for 2 hours, 4 days a week for 8 weeks. Our current proposal differs substantially from that proposal in that the pool will not be, as resident swim will not be impacted at all. Swim practices for neighborhood children would take place during hours that the pool has not been open to any residents in the past, thereby allowing resident children to have the swim team opportunity without impacting normal resident swim. I will also note that in the survey comments, we received hundreds of people writing in to say that they were supportive of a children's swim program in the neighborhood and that they would like to see it done in a way that either happened while the pool was open and folks could swim, or just in a way that didn't impact resident hours. And that is what informed this proposal really more than anything else.
Great, thank you so much. And the next one was any precedent that it sets for other groups, like a senior exercise group? And that it might be a foot in the door for expansion of hours at a later time for exclusive use.
In terms of senior exercise group, I'd say go for it if you're interested. That's not, that one is not my issue, but I hope it sets a good precedent in a way that, so that the pool can be used for groups who perhaps need an exclusive time. Again, if this can be used by other groups, then I am personally for that. And a foot in the door, this is a 1-season pilot project. The only thing, if the neighborhood chooses to approve it, that is approved is 7.5 weeks in May and June, that's it. And so that's what's on the table here.
Great, thank you so much. Okay. All right, and that's the last swim team question.
Okay, great.
And yes, thank you. And one of the cards actually I found out was a multi-issue card. So we have 2 more issues to go over. One is compliance. I understand the boards are new, but since taking over, there has not been adequate compliance review. Example, a pink house to a purple house at Wooten Park. Dead trees for single-family homes, some not replaced, others replaced with non-HOA trees like crepe myrtles, yard signs overgrown with weeds. Is that Tricia or is that Karen?
Well, I'll just say that, as mentioned earlier, we are projected to fund a position next year to do more enforcement. And so I know that dead trees are a priority and making sure that our street trees are maintained is a priority.
Okay, and then the last one on that card is, do all board members pledge to represent the entire community and not special interests? We don't want our boards to become political, so no one tries to get on the board to push through a special interest. If a board member has a special interest in a project, they should recuse themselves from discussions and votes on the project.
Well, we just passed a conflict of interest policy for the board that includes a personal interest is one of the things that's mentioned. When we think of conflict of interest, we always think about the financial interest, but it can be beyond that. And if it's not perceived that the board member can be objective and open to the rest of the community's thoughts, they should recuse themselves.
Great, thank you. Can you believe we spent almost 2 hours together? It flew by, didn't it? It was wonderful. So I want to make sure, because I believe in wrapping up on time. We have just a few minutes left. Make sure that everybody knows that the notes from the breakout will be available afterwards. And how is that going to come to them? Do you have an idea, or is it just that it?
Can I ask a quick question?
Is it on the wrap-up notes, or what is the topic?
No, I just thought about it. So the farmers market here every Sunday, do they pay us rent for that building?
Yes.
We get revenue
From the HOA? Oh, to the HOA?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And that's then how?
It's part of our master.
Okay.
We're in the middle of that transition, and I think I'll let Brian kind of wrap up that.
The pavilion is currently owned by the project, meaning it's owned by the developer and the city of Austin. They've built the pavilion. We continue to own that. At some point, as mentioned earlier in this presentation or earlier today, the idea is to transfer the pavilion over to the Property Owner Association. Those conversations have not happened yet, but any revenue that's coming into the pavilion is going to offset the costs for maintaining that, and that's all done through the project. The POA has no responsibility for that right now.
Great, thank you. Okay, and with that, no, seriously, we are going to wrap up by letting you know that we have the Harvest Festival coming up next Saturday, 1 p.m. And where is that going to be? John Gaines. All right. The Master Board meeting is October 23rd. The annual meeting, November 6th, 6 p.m.
The tower lighting, December 2nd at 5:30 p.m. Does that say 5:30?
Yes.
Yes, we'll be in a different time by then. We will be daylight savings time by then. And remember what I asked you to do when we first came in? Look around. If there's a neighbor you have not met yet, make sure to meet them. If you have any outstanding questions or comments, we will be around afterwards, but I do want to respect everybody's time by leaving on time. If you have not grabbed a sandwich or a lovely iced coffee, please do so on your way out. Thank you to Karen. Thank you to Austin Energy for hosting. Thank you to all of our table hosts who volunteered to be here today and answer some really tough questions. We appreciate you, and thank you for being the neighbors that show up and share your voice, and I hope we'll continue to be in conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Well, there was a lot of information in that. I hope you lasted this long. If you're still here, please click subscribe, click like, and we'll be able to bring you more of the information about news of the neighborhood on the Tower Coffee Hour. I'm your host, Preston Tyree, signing off.